Welcome to the kids' table, where the conversation is about fitness, but the maturity level is questionable.
The one and only Gunnar Peterson.
Then you've got Luke Milton, and then there's me.
Weird if you do your own intro. Ladies and gentlemen, Jen Wiederstruck.
So pull up a chair as we talk fitness, the business of fitness, and give a voice to trainers everywhere.
It's informative, it's inspiring, it's where everybody wants to be. This is the kids' table.
Today's episode is powered by Yeti and Train Heroic, the go-to platform for the go-to coaches and trainers.
So do you want to comment on Luke's outfit today, or do you want me to?
No, I want you to. I want you to, and I just want to chime in and add some color commentary.
Well, it's like this is his rugby player look.
Yeah,
Although I like your. Is this like a team?
No, shout out to Old Mates, New York City, the real Australian embassy, #1 pub in America, down in the financial district down in New York.
What a pitch!
Shout out, little Nico and Eddie there doing a good job.
Let me tell you how unpopular rugby is.
Oh, please tell me, Gunnar.
I read that shirt and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's one of the teams Luke played on.
100%.
And if you had told me it was, I would have gone, cool.
Yeah, well, I know that was a dig, but it is off the back of that, and I think it looks great.
I'll take it back. It's not that it's unpopular; it's that it's unknown.
No, you're 100% right. And I'll tell you what, I wish it did get more traction in the States. I know they're trying, but I just think there's so much behind the big four sports over here. It's really hard to infiltrate.
Especially with rugby, you can't compete against the marketing machine that is the NFL.
I made this joke the other day, but it's not that wrong. I was talking to an NFL guy, and he was trying to compare like salaries, from rugby to that, and he was kind of like nudge, nudge, wink, wink, like, you know what I mean, Luke. And I'm like, dude, I reckon I made a Diet Coke and a hot dog over my entire career.
No way.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
But I'll tell you, I was in Australia once, easily 15 years ago, and it was Australia and France, maybe? It was a massive rivalry.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Is that like...
It could make sense for sure. That's 15 years ago, 43. I mean, I might have just been out of it by then.
But I mean, It was a stadium that was as big as Soldier Field, if not bigger. Every seat was full.
Yeah.
How did you only get paid a hot dog?
Well, it's funny because that's an exaggeration. It's all relative. But in Australia, I think I don't know if this is appropriate to say or not, but I think the most I ever made was maybe a couple of $100,000.
So the hot dog,
like in a whole season.
Yeah, in a whole season.
The hot dog was just part of your rider.
That was my absolute must. Yeah, that was my non-negotiable. No, but I think it comes down to, and correct me if I'm Gunnar, you'd probably know more about this, but I think it's broadcasting rights. We just don't have the population. There's 25 million people in Australia. It's decently sized in England, but you're competing with the Premier League over there, so you don't get the same media rights. But I believe that's where a lot of the money comes from.
The TV contract fuels the league. It just funds it.
Back to the bar.
Yeah.
So is it a sports bar?
Yeah, it's a pub. So Australians really do pubs well. And so it's open down on John Street down in New York. It's doing great. Nick Stone, Eddie Buckingham, they're absolute legends of the New York hospitality scene, and they've just done a wonderful job down there. There's a bunch of people involved in it too, a bunch of surfers and athletes and all the rest of it. But it's actually become like the Australian embassy. This is why I'm so proud of Australia. It's like we've made a pub in New York City, the real embassy of America. But it's blown up. It opened in January, February, and it's absolutely blown up. It's kind of like a real social house.
Oh wow, this is pretty new.
Well. Yeah, it's really new.
When you had your rugby reunion, did you host stuff there?
Well, we went down there late night.
Yeah, good.
But it's become the hotspot in New York City. Everyone's going down there. So yeah, it's doing great.
I want to go now.
Doing great. Well, next time we're in New York, we definitely have to go down there and have a chicken palm and a schooner.
Oh, schooner.
I feel like I'm on the team.
We'll get you a jersey too, Gunnar.
Do you want to address this elephant in the room?
Yeah, so speaking of outfits, I'd like to know what's in your pocket, Gunnar. And then what happened?
Just happy to see you.
just think it's funny that Gunnar really thought he could sit.
I was going to try to not discuss it. That's just thing. It's so.
I know, but it's so funny that you just put your whole hand in the pocket.
Yeah, so
even asked
then it
about
looks like
it.
I'm going to rob the place.
Before we hear the story, if you're listening and not watching, Gunnar's been sitting there with one finger in the front pocket of his hoodie.
Just his
municipal
forefinger.
hoodie.
My kangaroo pouch here, in your honor.
Good. Yeah.
Actually, my wife put the splint on.
By the way, shout out to Jess. She's got like a doctorate in this last 18 months.
Well, after what she's gone through with her daughter, she is a full. No disrespect to doctors, but she is a full.
So you've got a wife-made splint on your finger.
I do, and it is throbbing. Like
What happened? What about the finger?
Why do I get made fun of anything that slightly sounds sexual? And he's saying throbbing and what's in my pocket.
This is a medical.
And no one in the room giggles. No one gives them any slack.
Medical context. I'm going to tell you this. You will laugh, and it's unfortunate because it was super unavoidable, and it's maybe the least athletic thing I've ever done. I was on a stationary bike, and I was doing intervals between my stationary bike, jump rope, and then air-powered Synergy climber. And actually, Adam Dirks, the strongman who trains in my gym, was right next to me on this stretch trainer. I was on the phone, and as I dismounted the bike, my foot got hooked in the tow basket, and I rotated past 90 degrees, fell down, foot stayed in the bike. No idea how I didn't tear my MCL and shred my ankle. I landed, head grazed the machine, and I looked down at my finger, which I as I put my foot down, my hand down to support myself, and my finger was shaped like a
zigzag.
Yeah, I thought it was my son's Z initial. It was like this, and I almost threw up and popped it back into place, looked down, and it popped back into the Z, and then I straightened it out again, and then I crunched it down. I was about to pass out, didn't lose the call, and the person on the call had no idea what had happened to me. Adam was staring at me in disbelief. He thought I'd cracked my head.
Yeah.
And I got up holding it, limping, because my glute is swollen. My ankle, I just had to get my foot out of the bike. I don't know how the bike didn't follow me. The whole thing.
What a dismount.
It looked like something out of like a sitcom. Like how?
Do you have security footage?
Hell no, there are no cameras in my gym. Thank God. You know what's funny? There are no cameras, and never have been cameras in my gym ever, in any of the gyms, because that's just one of the things from a privacy standpoint that we try to afford people.
It's a really good point.
Never, nothing.
But I'm going to go back to argue, and this is, don't get used to all the compliments, but I think it's the opposite. I think you're so athletic that you're lucky it is only the finger. Because if you weren't in such good shape, if you weren't so consistent, you probably got one leg right now. You know what I mean? Like to get your foot caught in something and the whole weight of your body fall in the opposite direction. Yeah, you're lucky that's what it is.
He literally goes, how did you not? When I got off the call,
when you resurfaced
eloquently and finished pacing, I had like tears coming out of the pain. And I know people have had real injuries, and this is nothing but, God damn, it's hurt.
A little bit of karma, because it wasn't too long ago. You were like,
it was like the third
Jen
thing.
doing the most unathletic knee. I'm like, dude, I don't know how it happened. It just happened to me. But
it was the third thing I thought about was, I just made fun of Jen for being this athlete and being in these CrossFit, these competitions and doing all this shit and being dialed and shredded, and then she trips over a barbell like a baboon. And then here I do something that's even less athletic that who knew was possible. And I thought, fuck, she's going to give me so much shit.
Yeah.
And then I thought, and then my wife's like, you have to go to the doctor. I just read if it's a broken finger, if it's you've cut the tendons, you could. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. I have clients before we're doing the pod. There's no way. And she came by the gym and she hit pause and made the person training for me, she goes, I need him for a minute. And then she taped it up. She had like 5 different options. And then she gave me some anti-inflammatories that I've been chewing like Pez all morning.
It's actually funny. You've been trying to, like, he's been a little less quippy than normal because the pain's getting in the way. You said it was the third thing you thought of. What was the first and second thing you thought of?
I don't remember, but I'd like to just hold those open in case something comes to mind. I didn't want to commit to making you the first thing. That's what.
But finish the workout too.
Oh yeah, I finished.
Of course you did.
What's funny is then I went back to the jump rope and I'm holding it like this instead of like this, and I'm jumping, and every landing I feel the finger going.
Whoomp, whoomp, whoomp,
oh my God,
heartbeat in the hand. Yeah, but I want to tap back into that. There's something about going through something totally unpredictable like that fall, and the only brush is the brush with like injury was the finger.
Yeah, but then I
like
think
your knee, your finger, everything's stayed intact. Same with me. I didn't tear it, I didn't rupture it, and anything. I'm fine.
But then I also
It's
realized
exciting.
how vulnerable I am. I realize how my work is 100% dependent on my physical ability.
Yeah.
Which at my AARP age is really dumb. Like the fact that I have all my eggs in this basket, something happens to me, I can't work. It's not like I can go to my job, on a scooter or in a wheelchair. So I'm like, I can't, it's over. I have to tap out, and income dries up and reputation goes down the bowl, and I'm just like,
our resiliency is everything. I was actually worried because it's your right hand. Like you have to you pick up and put down weights for all of your clients. You're spotting, you're doing, you're going to be fine. But it's
and when I had my wife on the phone, she's taking the kids to school, and I said, I think I broke my finger. I definitely dislocated it, but it may be broken. And my son goes, no. And I realized a second later, it had nothing to do with my finger. It had to do with I can't throw the football with him.
Oh.
It was his no was completely self-centered.
To give context, Jen and I are staying with Gunnar, so it's like a whole house of athleticism.
Can I just say one thing, and then we probably should get to our guest today. Last night, we're at the house. Zane's come from soccer practice. We're all kind of getting around the kitchen table. And Zane, who I've known since before he was born,
correct,
right? Like forever. He's intelligent, he's observant, he's so well-mannered and kind. But he holds his own with adults, and he engages when he wants to and watches and listens the rest of the time. He comes right up to me yesterday. He goes, "Hey, how tall are you?" And I go, I was like, I'm like, he's talking to me. I was like so excited. I go, 5'6". He goes, huh. And I go, what? He goes, I thought you were 6 feet tall. And I don't know. And I'm like, do I look like I'm in better shape this time? He goes, yeah. And like, I just come off this CrossFit competition. And so I'm like, oh man, maybe because I'm in such fit shape, I seem taller. I go, well, if I'm 6 foot, how tall is your dad? He's like, 5'7".
He's grounded.
I know. It was just really funny
There's no idea the difference between 5'7"
He doesn't
6
even
feet.
understand what he's saying. Like, he could have said I'm 7 feet tall, but like the way he...
No, because he knows Myers is 7 feet.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But the way he perceived my height because of my fitness level, or it was really kind of cool. I was like, I felt like that was Zane's like compliment to me. Like, yo, you're in shape. Did you get taller or something? What's up with you?
I forget how tall Myers is.
Oh my God.
Because you said this to me before I even met him. I goes, no, he's in proportion.
100%.
And I was like, I remember I met him, but I don't think of him as a 7 foot guy. And then hanging again last night, I'm like, oh no, you're like substantially taller than me, but you look normal.
Yeah, he looks normal. Yeah, and he moves very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not like all torso or all legs. He's very balanced.
Yeah, height's a weird thing.
I wouldn't know.
If you're still training with a plastic shaker bottle from 2012, it's time. The Yeti Rambler with chug cap is built like a tank, keeps ice all day, and it doesn't leak all over your gym bag. It's so light, yet still so durable. Guys, I literally spend so much time with this, I think my family's getting jealous. Grab one and stop making hydration harder than it needs to be. Yeti.com, get in, get out, get going.
I've given you guys a little prep on today's guest, Sarah Gilbert, and I'm going to read a little bit of a bio on her. You know, ever since The Biggest Loser documentary came out, there's been a lot of conversations around what I think, and frankly, a lot of what was covered in the documentary I didn't really feel like had a lot to do with me. Okay. It was definitely the history of the show, but I think as someone that has been in multiple seasons and have people that I cared about and care about from the show, it was an important opportunity for me to bring someone on and bring a perspective that I don't think has been shared. I think a lot of people are looking at the documentary and I'll say this again with Sarah on the phone, but like, look at the documentary and think that's the experience. And it was just so different for a lot of my contestants. So today we have Sarah Gilbert. She's a former Biggest Loser contestant. I believe we're on season 17 together. She was on Team Jen, but was part of one of the most polarizing and scrutinized reality shows in TV history. The Biggest Loser recently has become a hot topic of conversation, again, amongst the health and fitness industry with the release of this documentary that's now streaming on Netflix. Now, she and I have remained very close for over 10 years. I would consider her family. And I asked her to come here for a candid conversation about what this experience was like from her perspective. And I will tell you, she's pretty nervous coming today. I told her she's in good hands, that like her experience is hers and she doesn't have to feel like she's responsible for what everybody felt. But she and I talked a lot through the release of the documentary, as I did with a lot of my contestants. And I wanted to give her the chance and us the chance to discuss the impact of what the show, how the show impacted her mentally, physically, and especially long after the camera stopped rolling. I think there's a lot of conversation about aftercare and what happens to these people and did we do well by them and all of that. Anyway, I thought it was important for her to share. I think
Let me ask you something about that show. Does the show promise aftercare, or is it just implied that anybody who takes you on such a journey is then responsible for your aftercare? Is it like a marriage where if you're married for X amount of time, then you're responsible for supporting that person
neither
going forward, or that? Or
yeah,
is it just
I think it's neither, you know.
I watched it and I heard some of the people, they can't, and all I thought was, yeah, a lot of times you finish a job, especially if you're more entrepreneurial than corporate, and you're gone off that job, and like no one checks in on you, no one follows up, no one makes sure that you still get up, you still get paid, you still brush your teeth, you still pay your insurance. They don't, like, that's not their job. It's not part of it. So I didn't know if that was implied on Loser, that once they take you through that they're going to take care. Are you just talking over me?
Well, I wanted to hear your question.
No, I'm talking to you. I want to know your side of it.
Okay.
I will come over there.
So the answer is no. That they know they are signing up for a TV show.
Yeah, that's
so there's
what I
no
thought.
Promise after the show.
So I heard a little bit of that. It sounded a little bit bitter, and I was like, interesting. Maybe they're promised that they will be looked after they drop the weight and they help maintain their health. And then I thought, or are you like a grown up, and once you're out of the nest, you're out of the nest. And
once you're out, you're out. But I think that implied, like that implied consent to help,
right,
can be real or misread through what kind of trainer you had on the show.
Yeah.
So all of mine were given workout programs. They have my cell phone number, my email, and I work with them directly. For whoever wanted to work towards something, they had me 100% of the time.
But that's you aside from the show.
Correct. That's me. I don't get there's no payment for that. There's no acknowledgement. There's no, you know what I mean? Like, there's no credit. Right? The cameras are done rolling. I chose to pursue that. Now, I don't know how any of the other trainers spoke to their contestants or what promises they made, but I know that the word I gave is the one I kept.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Like, if somebody wrote me that I had worked with 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even if it was a short stint, and said, hey, gee, sorry to pop up randomly in your feed, but can you help me with a program? I'm here, whatever. I would still do that because that's just who I am as a person. Not
Correct.
like I'm some saint. I just feel like in our field, that's kind of cool to be that guy.
Of course.
It's not about
100%.
benevolence or, oh, I want to get patted on the shoulder. You're such a good guy. It's not that. It's just I think that you do have a connection. We talked about this earlier today. Funny, right? You said best job ever.
Yeah.
You do create a connection that is a different connection than other service-based jobs because they're in such a vulnerable state, some of them, when they come to you, and I try to give everything, and I know you guys too, and that's why this works as a friendship and as a job, whatever. But I think I would still write that person a program. Maybe I wouldn't get to it right away. Maybe I wouldn't do it for another month, year, whatever. Depends on how it feels. If it feels icky, if it feels taken advantage of.
But it also depends on the person.
Yeah, but I think most of them, I'm the guy who would write that. So then I didn't know when I heard those people bitching about how once they were off the show, they were let go and they had no tools to handle. And I thought, okay, but you're a grown up. Like, you're kind of responsible on your own. And then I thought I wondered if the show said, we're there for you as a support system afterwards. I didn't know what was.
I actually want to. We should ask Sarah, what did they promise? Because I don't know that perspective. And she and I have even talked over the years. Like more has come out over these last 10 years because we meet up every couple of years as a whole cast for my season.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Is that just you, or is that something that everyone does?
No, I'm the only one that does it.
Because I met up with you after you'd done one of those reunions, and you were on cloud nine. You were smiling from ear to ear. You were telling me all the stories, and their families got involved. Do you want to expand on that? Because I think it's a really special story.
Let's include Sarah in it, though, if she's already on hold, and that'll be a part of it. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, I hear you.
We can see you.
Can you? Okay.
Oh, you look so beautiful. Hi.
Hey, thanks. Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Sarah. How are you? I'm Luke.
Hi, Luke. Nice to talk to you.
Hey,
so
Sarah,
great to talk to you.
I'm Gunnar.
Hi, Gunnar. I've heard a lot about you both from Jen.
Yeah, likewise. I feel like I already know you, but it's just that energy of you already. You're exactly what Jen said, an absolute angel.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you guys. I appreciate it. I'm a little nervous, but excited.
I know you've never done a podcast, right? You've never done any of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She and I just usually cry through voice notes together. So we were actually in this avalanche of conversation, and I kind of made us put the brakes on to get you because you were waiting on the line. But Gunnar was immediately getting into the conversation about, like, were you guys promised post-care when you signed up for the show? And I said, I don't know what they were promised. I know what my experiences was as a trainer. But I just figured, Gunnar, it's your question. Go for it, and let's just jump in.
Yeah, the question came from when I watched the documentary, and I know a lot of the players involved personally from long before their ascension, but it sounded like there were a lot of people who were pissed is the wrong word, but let down about once they left the show, there was no follow-up, no aftercare, no re-entry rules or help. And I remember thinking, oh, that's rough. And then I tried to put it in real-world context, and I thought, yeah, but a lot of places when it's over, it's over. Nobody looks after you. Like, no one's coming to save you. You're on your own here. So I didn't know if there was something where they said to you, hey, after you go through this metamorphosis, we're always there for you, or you can check in with us from a medical or from a psychological or whatever. And I didn't know if that was promised or implied, or if that's just what people felt was owed to them, and if they were just being like pussies about it and little baby victims, or if in fact they were let down.
Yeah. So we were never promised aftercare for after the show.
Stop your bitching.
That wasn't an expectation that I had. I will say, I think the reason you get such a variation of experiences and opinions is, for so many reasons, obviously. Earlier on, I think they were feeling a lot of stuff out and probably trying a lot of stuff that made people feel different or uncomfortable. But I think a lot of it too, I've done like a lot of thinking about it, just because like when I watched the documentary, I almost felt like, have I like gaslit myself into like a different experience? You know what I mean? Like where was I just like drinking Kool-Aid? Did I have like a totally different perspective on it? And I think after watching it, and I kind of went back and watched some different seasons a little bit, not like everyone, but just kind of trying to adjust and see where some people would have issues. And I think it really comes down to, I know you guys are gonna love how much I blow Jen up, but truly, I think Jen was a huge difference. And so I think it really comes down to a trainer relationship with the contestants. Certainly nothing that was promised. And when I say relationship, I mean how the entire experience went. Like what makes the difference between, in my opinion, a good trainer who knows what they're doing and like next level trainer who can really speak into people's lives and help change, especially within this population. Like obese people who struggle with obesity are completely different to train than your typical athlete, or people who are doing it to fine tune an area, or they have trouble spots, or they just want a little motivation. Like completely different group of people. And what Jen did that was really special was see each person individually and know if she needed to stay on the sideline and have that motivation and that coaching, or like in my experience, which was I was a completely broken person when I came onto the show. Like, I don't even like resonate, or when I watch it back, it is literally like an out of body experience for me, because I just don't even mentally connect with where I was at that point in time. And I needed someone who was like, I was like limping through this marathon, right? Like I was like Lieutenant Dan. There was
there's a
like,
lot,
I was
though.
crawling.
But you literally, within the first few weeks, you had pre-stress fractures in both your legs.
Yeah,
so we and so did Colby, who you've met Colby before. But like, I mean, we were. I mean, to the advice of the doctors, which I listened to, she was doing pull workouts forever. Like she was literally immobilized, just to get her through that part.
Right.
But are you kind of saying like I knew to meet you guys where you were?
Correct. Yeah. Like you came. So like for example, I think some trainers have a hard time. What I picked up on watching stuff back, not to say that they're not great trainers. But for an individual, what makes you special and unique, Jen, is that you adjusted. I feel like some trainers meet people where they are as a trainer. Like, this is my training style. This is how I like to train. This is what I like to do. And the difference between an okay trainer, a good trainer, and next level Jen, my Jen, what he's shown to me, is that you didn't approach it from a level of like, this is what I'm gonna do for you. I'm meeting you here. You saw that I needed you to like come pick me up in the middle of the race and literally like ride your back to it. Like, you didn't, if you had done that for someone like Lewis or Berto, that's not going to help them. They need that push. They need you to get on them. They need you to be tough with them. I needed someone to literally be like, I got you. Like, I'm going to get you through this. And I think that trust that's established is huge, especially for people who are beasts and struggle with self-value and self-worth. So you have these people who have all of these emotions and things that they're struggling with, and greater so than you're going to run into in a lot of populations that have sensitivities to that. And if you're not meeting them where they're at, and instead you're meeting them where they are as a trainer, they're not going to trust you. They're not going to connect with you afterwards. Like, if there's no connection, they're going to feel completely used up and spit out by this process.
This is the question I'm going to have for you then. Do you think, because like a big thing you had said, because you had felt a level of shame when we talked about this, what was exposed in the documentary was not Sarah's experience. So in a way, like those people in the documentary, I did not train. They had other trainers. So do you feel like they had a right to feel that way? Are they being victims, or were they really like, did the other trainers say, I've got you, I'll be in your corner, and then bailed, and they have a reason to feel that way? And I don't know the inside of those conversations, but this does come down to like you giving someone your word, forget it's on TV or not, and saying, I'm going to be there for you, and I'm going to go through this process, and then the camera shuts off, and then you're on your own. I'm wondering, so that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to like, are we validating what we saw in the documentary? Are we?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. I think, and it will vary. I'm not going to say that all of the time that is the case. Clearly, there's going to be, no one is perfect. So I don't think it is on a singular contestant for their experience. I don't think it's solely on production for an experience. I don't think it's solely on a trainer for experience. Like, at the end of the day, everyone operates individually. How those pieces interacted and had the experience is going to be different. But I'll also say that if you develop that trust with someone, your experience is going to be far different post-show. It really is. And like, I do think it comes down to sometimes were they saying things on camera that they didn't follow through on. I can say,
yes,
I can see some of that happening for sure.
We saw that in our season with the other trainers.
Yeah,
all these empty promises to try to create this false sense of trust. It was infuriating because those other contestants would approach me.
Back, which I had never watched our season.
Oh, Sarah, I tried. I quit. I got to the second episode and I was like, I can't handle more.
You couldn't watch it?
Gibson woke up.
emotional.
I have my middle son Gibson is 5, so he still wakes up in the night and gets in our bed. And I was watching it, just trying to like get in the mindset for this conversation. And he came in, and I was sobbing, and he started crying. He's like, "Mommy, but you're okay now, right?" Like he was so like, it really is. It's hard to watch that stuff back, but when I watched it back, I'm watching the whole team having this, particularly who they focused on at the time was Felicia, but like they were all really struggling to connect with Dolvett, and I think Dolvett is Dolvett was always nice to me, but I think the difference is that he was there on camera and then gone. So everyone handles stuff differently, but Jen was there for us for like every workout. There was not like Jen, if we were doing hard workouts, was there day in, day out.
Regardless of the cameras,
She could have gotten somebody else. There was nothing that obligated her to be there with us.
Jen's like that, as you know, Jen's like that in her personal life as well. I think we can all say that she's there for us as well. But Sarah, I just wanted to like interject there a little bit and get your thoughts on, because trust me, you can't glow Jen up enough. We all think that, we're very biased, but we think you got the best partner that you could ever go through an experience like this with, and everything you have said is 100% true. That's not for a podcast, that's not for anything other than just the truth. Like, she is just doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing in life, and we're all insanely proud of her. But I want to go back to what made you get into it. Like, congratulations on the transformation that you've had, because it sounds like not only a physical transformation, but you've gone through a real life transformation as well. What instigated you to get into that and to take that first step? Because I think that's always the hardest one. And then, what made you stick with it? What made you keep hanging out with Jen and reaching out? Because sometimes that can be a vulnerable move, right? Like, staying in contact with someone like Jen.
And tacking on, Sarah, you've been very vocal on social about the journey that's been up and down.
Yep.
And I sent them their video of you being like, I gained it back and then I lost it. And then here I am now. And then so it's like, what made you start, but what made you keep showing up? I think it's an important mechanism mentally and personally that makes you have the courage to keep going after every pregnancy, after every hardship, after every shift in your life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what gets you to the starting line again and again?
So it's kind of controversial for me, because honestly, it was the show, and I hate to, that's not like a Kool-Aid response like that. It truly, for me, mentally, I was in a place where I was completely disconnected from my body, completely disconnected from my purpose. I was lost. I was a younger mom. I got married really quickly, had my son. I was 23 when I had him. I had kind of like struggled with my weight, but I was never obese prior to pregnancy. And then once I got pregnant, struggled with postpartum depression, and my body just completely changed hormonally, went crazy. And, I gained probably 70 pounds in a couple years. I was already kind of at a upper, level of overweight. I was kind of like 180 to 200, which I'm really short. So for me is still, pretty heavy. But that kind of like took it to the next level for me. So I was 267 when I went on the show. And I did not think that it was possible. I just did not. I tried, I'd started, I did not have, at that point, I was just so lost as a person that I just did not think, I thought it was just always going to be that way. I had tried, gained it back.
So even the show was a Hail Mary? You were just like, whatever, I'll apply.
I genuinely, had I not gone on the show, I do not know if I ever would have lost weight. I think I would have stayed there or gotten heavier. Mentally, that's where I was at. I was never athletic. I didn't have anything to like really push me to another level. I was stuck. And I was sad, and I was
So the show
depressed.
was a catalyst for you?
It was, in the fact that I do not believe that I thought it was possible. And I think when you like talk about motivations and stuff like that, like I was, and we've talked about this before, Jen, I was highly motivated by some of the things that made the show kind of not great, unfortunately. You know, like the shame aspect of it and the money aspect of it were hugely motivating. So, like, you know, they, like Dr. Hazanga said, you know, you can't gamify weight loss and it ever really be healthy. And it's true, because you are going to, I was highly motivated. I was a newlywed. We didn't have a lot of money. Highly motivated to, at some point, at the beginning, I was really just grateful to be there and to like have this experience, the Biggest Loser experience, and lose weight. Kind of started there, but as you're kind of like, okay, well, maybe I got some weight to lose. Why not? I got a 1 in, how many people are 16 on our season? 1 in 16 chance at, $250,000. Why not me? I could try. So,
and by the way, we should point out that you barely lost the at-home prize. It was between her and one of her teammates.
We don't have to talk about that.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Still a sore point for me. But yeah, I missed the at-home prize
that was
by 1 pound.
Yeah, 1 pound.
Like less than a percentage. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, 0.5. It was nothing.
I know.
It still hurts. Thanks, Jen.
No, but that's the thing. But like Sarah did it right, did it all the way, and left, I think, week 5.
I left week 5.
Which is
I lost 41 pounds on the ranch, and I lost the other 80 at home.
Which is really important to point out, because once you go home, she's got my number and email, but she has got to show up. There's nobody else. There's no Jen coming to the gym, waking up out of bed like I do at the ranch. Like, she's on her own, and she did the whole back half, the majority of the back stretch by herself.
No, that's really important, because I didn't actually realize that when I was looking it all up. I saw the roughly 120 pound weight loss. I just thought that was all on the show.
Yeah.
I had 5 weeks.
So once you get voted off, you're on your own, but then you have an opportunity to win the at-home prize. That's what was so incredible about Sarah. One of the many things that are incredible about it. But I also think that's where it's important to interject. And I think I didn't even finish watching the documentary. I couldn't sit through it because there was so much judgment on these contestants. Yeah. And you guys watching have no idea what's happening, the amount of hours that hit the cutting room floor, the conversations, the effort, the time, the love that not only me as a trainer puts in, but the production team, our athletic trainers, our camera crews would jump in and do workouts with us. They fucking loved our contestants, and there was relationships. And I was like, you don't get to judge. You don't get to have an opinion on Sarah or Lewis or Colby or Sonia or any of my people, because you weren't there. And that's where I get angry and defensive, because I'm like...
But you also know a lot of that hits the cutting room floor because production has to create storylines, if they're not naturally forthcoming, to make it watchable. Yeah. We did Luke and I did this, so I'm not
Well, our contracts, they honestly could have pretty much orchestrated it if they wanted to create a storyline for who they wanted to win. They essentially could have just gone through and done, made adjustments here. We could change this challenge here. We could not eliminate. We can put a red line here. Like, I was a red line week. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a really fascinating person to watch. It was terrible on camera. It was probably a really great week to be like, here's a red line.
No, Sarah's a sweetheart. There's no drama. She doesn't talk shit on anybody. She's pretty happy.
No drama. I got along with everybody.
I think she cried once.
And I was also a complete jellyfish of a human. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was not entertaining. So I was like, let's redline her. She lost. So, they could kind of orchestrate stuff how they wanted to for a storyline. And there's just parts of it. I think where The Biggest Loser really got in trouble, or why they kind of face some of the backlash that they do now, is I think that if they had just been genuine and been like, this is an extreme reality show.
Yeah, but hang on. So let me jump in. But again,
sorry, we're all over the place.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I know this is about Loser, but I'm going to draw a parallel. Luke and I both did Revenge Body with Chloe, and I'm sure you heard this because I know I did on a number of filming days. Some of the stuff was going a certain way, and it makes me uncomfortable. You know that. That's my Achilles heel. I don't like for people to be uncomfortable. I don't like for people's feelings to get hurt. I like for it to all be, copacetic and Pollyanna. And I was told more than once, when I didn't want something to be a certain way, they said, this makes good television. Yeah. And I go, but I don't want her experience with me or her experience with a gym or with a fitness association to be like that. And they said it makes good television. So they were not dishonest. They wanted it in its entirety, but I wanted to stop it because I saw it going in a direction that I didn't like. And they're like, it makes good television. So to your point, like, you think your storyline isn't interesting. Their job is to make it interesting.
Yeah.
And you can't, to defend them, that's not wrong. Like that prize money that you're getting is coming from sponsors and advertisers who are paying for a show that is watchable. And the way our society works, drama is watchable. People like drama. So they're gonna if you're not creating it, they're gonna manufacture it.
So, but here's the risk I took, and you can't play it out again because it's in the past. But and Sarah, you probably remember the day. It was actually our first workout in the gym, and
if you're gonna say what I think you're gonna say about protecting us.
Yeah,
I was already right there with you. I was already thinking about it.
Because I got in the first workout. You have to guys realize. We've got 4 camera crews. Dolvet's got his team on his side. I've got mine on my side. And we have 4 hours to work out, I think was the first workout. 4.
Yeah.
These people don't work out. So I was like,
some of them were like former athletes, but we're all great and healthy. I had never worked out.
Correct. No, truly. But I'm sitting there and I go, and I think, oh, thank goodness, they're giving me time to assess these people, to get them moving, to do some level changing. No, I get yanked out of the room in the first 15 minutes because no one's crying, no one's falling down, and no one's throwing up. And so I get any trainer that claims they don't have control of what goes on, we have, it's 100% in the trainer's hands. 100%. And so I got yelled at because Dolvet's got his people on a level 10 incline at a 10 speed and they're throwing up in buckets. And I go, well, I have 4 hours.
Yeah, I want to win the show.
I'm like, so
I want my people to win long term.
I'm going to create a relationship with them. And I'm also, my number one job is to keep them safe and to progress forward without any injury. So, but I'm going to land this, but like by the end of the workout, I had gotten pulled out twice and I was like, it's my job to protect you. And by the way, did they get anybody falling down and crying on my team? No, but you know what the TV I made for them is a real connection, real emotion. We were die fucking hard for each other on our team because they knew that they were a priority for me and it was real for me, so it became real for them. And on Dolvet's side, everybody felt like they were acting and performing because camera time is attention. You want to be in the episode. You want the camera in your face. And so we went a different route. I didn't create drama the way that was traditionally happening, but I created really good television by doing it right. And it was a risk I took, and I'm like, if NBC wants to fire me because I'm not dramatic enough, they can get rid of me. But I chose them, and that's what made our bond so special.
Well, let's.
Jen came to us before that workout, and she said, and even after they talked to her, she came and she had us huddle, and she said, guys, we are going to have to go a little harder. Yeah. And I want you to trust me. I want you to know I've got your back. I am not going to let anything happen to you. That was so huge to not for some people, maybe less of a big deal that could have struggled through it. For somebody like me who is literally, I felt like a deer in the headlights in a production
we were
experience,
strangers. We met the night before.
If you're a trainer looking to level up, grow your business, and actually connect with your clients, Train Heroic is the game changer you need. I've used it for years. It's the first tech my clients actually enjoyed using. They showed up, did the work, and I could coach them through every rep. Trusted by top coaches since 2012, plans start at just $10 a month and you get your first 14 days free. Head to trainheroic.com/the kids table to start your free trial now.
Jen was like, I've got you, I protect you. And that trust was established so quickly for me with Jen that I can't imagine not having that. And I know from what I experienced and saw with Dolvet that not everybody got that. So I would never look at another contestant and be like, that's not valid. I can't tell you. There's some people that's going to be more affected by that than others. Some are probably going to be fine, be like, whatever, it's fine. Some people are just built that way, totally fine. But a lot of people who struggle with weight are going to be exactly like I was. And if I hadn't have had somebody who really had my back that I trusted as a trainer to get me, and I still, by the way, I was 267 pounds, wasn't working out, even as gentle and as well and in good of care as Jen really took care of me, I was modifying stuff.
Yeah.
My spongy knees were still like, nah, like this is a lot. You know? But she protected us within that environment to the absolute best. Now, you know, the environment is a totally different topic, but I can't imagine not having Jen and that experience, and totally why going forward, I think I felt so positive about it until I watched the documentary and I was like, oh, wow, there's maybe some stuff that's problematic I didn't realize, you know?
Luke, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think you make some really good points. And again, yeah, you are lucky you got Jen, but I think that this is a really good time to clear up a lot of this stuff for a lot of people listening, right? The three of us have all been on TV shows like A Biggest Loser or Transformation Show. Gunnar and I were on Revenge Body with Chloe, as you said, and Jen, obviously Biggest Loser. But we're trainers, we're not actors. So you go into these shows and it's our job to get results. But it's, as you said, Gunnar, the producer's job's to get ratings. So you can kind of be... two things can be right at the same time. And one of the biggest surprises that I noticed, I was so green because Revenge Body was the first TV show I'd been on and so on and so forth. And I remember showing up the first day and I go in there for my client, I meet her and we do this introduction because that's the first time we meet, like you guys said you met the night before. And then they're like, okay, great, now do it this way. I'm like, excuse me? I didn't really understand what reality TV was. So I was like, okay, cool, we're going to move the cameras to this side and now come through the door and say this. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I got you. Now, the workouts we had a little bit more autonomy over and they were the ones we wanted to do and that's why everyone got good results. But I think it's really important for people to understand that. Sometimes it's not necessarily just you and Jen in a room by yourself for 30 minutes, for 40 minutes, for an hour. There are some other, and I don't say ulterior motives in a negative context, there are just some other, you know, things that people need to get out, like ratings and like, you know, clickbait and some bite-sized sort of things. So look, I think it's great that you guys developed a relationship and that's really good. But I think the big difference is Jen is at the soul of it all, a trainer.
I wouldn't know another way to do it. So,
I'm with you.
You tell me you
so
get
well
pulled
said,
out.
Gunnar.
You get pulled out of the room, and I would have gotten pulled out of the room, I'm sure, because your approach resonates with me. That's what I do. I look at like, yeah, the workouts are going to come, the workouts are going to happen, the struggle, there's no way to avoid that. I used to have it written in the old gym window, if I can't communicate, I can't connect. So I would work on the communication so you understand the way I speak. You understand when I say something that may come across as sarcastic or insensitive, that it's not. It's me connecting to you. It's you finding my sense of humor, because the sense of humor for me is the levity that I infuse, probably too much, but whatever, throughout the workout is what's going to get us through all this. Right? My mom used to say, your sense of humor is going to get you through. And it is. So if I had been pulled out of the room and told to do it a different way, similar to what happened on the other show, I don't know another way to do it. So if you say they pull you out, hey, let's do the intro differently, I go, I can't do that. This is how I intro. This is how I greet people.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to I didn't mean differently. It was just like, let's do it from this angle. Do it again, but from this angle. Do it again. From this, and I did the entry 20 times, and I just felt weird. But then
it's going to be different. I'm not going to repeat the same line. I'm not going to, I in another life, I worked with Jack Lemmon on a movie, and they had him sometimes doing 10, 12, 15 takes. If he walks in the room, if he's decided, as two-time Academy Award winner Jack Lemmon, not to speak for him, but he's doing it this way, he's not going to walk in the room and go, hey, everybody, how you doing? And then, hey, everybody, how are you doing? He's not going to change the pace. He knows best for his character what he's doing. And I'm not saying I know best for my character, because to your point, I'm not an actor, but I know what feels right as a trainer in a gym when I'm receiving a new client. And I'm going to say it this way because I want to elicit XYZ response from you so that we can move forward off of that, because you only get that one chance to make that first impression. And if I start coming across like Sybil and greeting you 10 different ways, it's all over the place.
Yeah, the other thing that's, I think, really important to point out, though, is, and your praise, Sarah, it's made me emotional, and I love you and thank you for saying me. I know, but I will say, Sarah and I, because our team specifically, our season, we get together every couple of years. We bring all the partners and wives and spouses and kids, and everyone gets to hang. But I think it was 2 years ago where well before this documentary came out, that I started to carry a level of shame around the show, because it had occurred to me after the fact that who I was on set and how I showed up for them and protected them, I have no qualms about. I feel 10 out of 10 proud of myself and who I am and what I did. But when you realize, they go home, you realize you have trained them in an environment that has not actually prepared them to go home. We did not prepare them for the discipline and the re-entry to life. Like she's below the red line. She literally is on a bus that night, in a hotel, and on a plane the next morning. And I, so overwhelmed with production and the contestants and the challenges and what are you walking into the door next, because they don't tell the trainers anything. We're surprised alongside the contestants. I didn't prepare her for home. And even though I was like, and for a long time, like, they've got my number. They know they have me. We did the grocery shopping for them. They don't have to go to work. They don't have to be a parent. They don't have to be a spouse. We are thrusting them into a life that they have not built the discipline for or the stamina for mentally. And so, go ahead, say it.
Okay, stopping you there, because that's not entirely true. Like, there are some things that you really did prepare me for mentally, because like there are some things that you said that have indefinitely stuck in my brain. One of those things is that success is not linear. And you very specifically said you have to fail your way to success. And that is something that...
Oh my God, you too.
Sorry, guys. I know. I knew I was going to come on here. And you guys...
Jen's going too. I'm saying
this is so not your vibe. I know.
This is great.
Luke and I are going to step outside.
But really, like, when you said that to me, and this is not a TV thing. That was the messaging you were giving me on camera and off camera, and that made all the difference, because when I went home.
I think all of our cycles are syncing right now.
You're such a prick. No, but
it would be so much worse if you guys ever watched the actual season. I promise. Like, legitimately, all I did was cry. Yeah. But I took that, and throughout not just the actual filming, but onwards, every time that moms are like a next level different breed who have to continually reinvent their body over and over and over again. Like, it is the hardest process for your whole body to shift in one direction, all of your hormones to change, and then have to get up and do it again and again and again. I'm sure you guys can appreciate that. I know, like, some of you have a lot of kids, but like, how incredible it is for a woman to have to do that. And that messaging is something that stuck with me the whole time. So you did. Now, what I will say, Jen, is that I think that, she did come to us. What she was trying to say, so we get to it before I kind of jump her point, was that she came to us and kind of said she had been thinking about the show. I'm going to let you finish that, and then we'll get back to what I was going to say. I just had to interrupt you because that wasn't true.
No, you're sweet. Well, listen, I just think that where I see a lot of people, and there's no difference between people at home and people on the show. That's why it was so popular. That's why millions and millions tuned in every week, because whether you're 100 pounds overweight or 20, you're wrestling with some of the inner dialogue or the cycles in your day that are really tough. And I just think, I wanted to give you guys permission, saying it's not going to be easy. It's going to look different. You're okay. Just keep stepping back. Get back on. And so for me, I would have done things differently. And that's the hindsight of anybody that's willing to look at their career, their education, say, this is what I knew, but this is what I know now, and this is how I'm going to do better going forward. And
thank God you were in that situation, because the thing is that nothing about that show is normal. And again, I think that's where they really went wrong, was that yes, were there things that people were inspired by? Did it change some of our lives? Absolutely. Were some of them for the better, some of them for worse? Yeah, absolutely. Were people outside of the show inspired to some extent? Absolutely. I met lots of people who were wildly inspired by the show and made these changes on their own, literally just because they saw someone else could do it. That's great. That never would have happened to me. But there are people who were like that. It can also be true, though. Two things can always be true at one time. That it was very detrimental in the messaging that it gave to people, and that sometimes like that fat is the worst thing you can be. Like there are some times where I'm gonna tell you it is gonna be an ebb and flow for forever, and just because you're at this point, it can be taken as a moment, but I think there was some messaging there that wasn't great. It was also kind of, I carried, and Jen and I have talked about the shame that I had experienced once I watched the documentary, and I realized that the messaging it was giving was that was like attainable, or that how it should be. And the reason that messaging came across is because they didn't really always market it genuinely. They marketed it as this life-changing, inspirational, this is how they're just doing it with some hard work. No one is hard working. Hard work is one thing. 6 to 8 hours a day of working out is not, and because people don't see all of that, they had an unrealistic expectation. Now, Jen was coaching within that environment. Would Jen have ever suggested that to anyone in a normal environment? Obviously not. That doesn't speak to her. That speaks to what she was brought into in the environment she was coaching us within.
Well, you guys were surviving on set, too. What she did was protect us within that environment wholly, and I think that's the best you can do, which is why I've, told Jen, we're all big boys and girls. We signed up for a reality television show. Now, I hate that they marketed it the way they did, because it gave America a bad taste in their mouths, because they felt duped. It gave a lot of its contestants a bad taste in their mouth, because they were diehard fans of the show, and they get on and you're like, you don't care about me and my personal transformation? You mean it's about making money on a TV show? I'm so confused. I actually have a question for the group. So even when I came on, I did my first season. I was a nobody, meaning I didn't get to have an opinion, but I did a good job. And so going in the next...
You had actually done a supplement
this little thing
product before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know of you because of that.
Right, but I mean, I had not really been on TV in a big way, and because I was new to NBC.
I meant when you came to do my supplement, and you were
Gunnar had a 14 to lean program that I was the fitness model in, 10.
They brought her in between Gladiators.
It was really what broke her, right?
Yeah. It was in between Gladiators and Biggest Loser, and they brought her in. I'm like, that's the chick from Gladiators.
Yeah. He still had color in his beard. It was a long time ago.
How is she a fitness model now? I was dying. I go, got your big break now, didn't you, Mama?
It was. I was in Gunnar Peterson's gym. It was a big deal. And you were nice to me. And you said I did a good job. And you said my ideas were good. So anyway, but it was, we were talking about.
You said you had a question for the group.
Oh, question for the group. So I got into my next season with Biggest Loser. And I had suggested that we needed to reevaluate the way we were awarding wins each week. Because I said, if you're only doing weight loss, you're going to, you're missing. It's very
easily manipulated. Just ask any wrestler.
Oh my God. You're missing, missing what the show could evolve into.
But it's quantifiable, so it works for TV.
Right. So I said, fine, let's say, Gunnar, you get on the scale, you lose 1 pound, but it shows that you are up 3 pounds of lean muscle mass. I'm just making this up because I know
it's the first week in 10 years that I haven't missed a day of work. And
right, but I'm like, okay, so then that's a 4 pound net to me versus what if I just lost 3 pounds? And you should win. I was like, why aren't we rewarding hydration? Why aren't we rewarding muscle mass? Why aren't we rewarding
all the other wins?
All the other wins, the NBC and my production, where they were so concerned. They were like, but if we change the formula of the show, will America still tune in? They want to see the, 38 pounds lost. Sure. And also, to Sarah's point, the shame she felt of it wasn't we would have a 1 week, but it would be sometimes 2 weeks was a week. And there would be weeks on the show where it's oh, Sarah only lost 1 pound because it was a 3-day week. So they manipulated film weeks because of what we needed to do with production. But 38 pounds versus 3 pounds, there was so much more than met the eye. Yeah. And I do you guys think if we had introduced a reevaluation of what was success in the show, that the show could have a chance to still be on the air? What if the show adapted?
I'll answer in 2 ways because I think I understood what you said. From a trainer physiological perspective, I would like to see all of those. From a capitalistic sort of business standpoint, they had goals to meet. They got shareholders to meet. They got mouths to feed. And I don't know if that would have generated the amount of revenue that was needed from sponsors, from everyone else, because a lot of these guys are the way TV works. It's not like,
So let me jump in. I'll say, yes, I think it would have worked, because I think the wins, while the weight loss is quantifiable, I think there are so many other ways you win. And I jumped ahead by saying, like, you weren't absent from work that day, you were more patient with your kids, whatever, those little things. But I look at, go back to Revenge Body. Mm-hmm. Revenge Body wasn't always about the scale. Revenge Body was about how the person overcame XYZ in their personal life, XYZ in their work life, where they felt they didn't have control, they gained control. And I think maybe they're more intangibles or more nuanced, but I think in a way, Revenge Body is an evolution of Loser. And I think there are other shows, and I'm trying. There was
one. It's called Strong. Gabby Reese was the host. They asked you to be a part of it, and you ended up not doing it.
Oh yeah, Sylvester Stallone produced.
Sarah, did I tell you that they brought the show to Gunnar first for Biggest Loser?
Yeah.
And what was your response, Gunnar?
That's not my milieu, right? Like I don't thrive there. It's probably like financially the stupidest thing I ever didn't do, but I lost there. But that's just not where I feel like I thrive. Now, I think if it came back, in fact, it came back a couple of years ago.
I know, on USA.
No. They were going to reboot it in Australia. With Jill, and I was asked there too, and it ended up. I want to say it was Channel 10 in Australia. Is that a thing?
Yeah, Channel 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they. We were in some discussions about it, and then it ended up not happening. But I think now I could do it, and I would be better. Not that I couldn't have done it then, but I didn't feel like it was where I would have shown.
Yeah.
Past tense. But I feel like I wouldn't have been my best then, or I didn't want to. Actually, I wasn't. It's just not what I wanted to do. Sure, I wanted to show. Sure, I wanted to be able to bring more light to fitness in general, because I do think it is for everybody. I do think there's a way for everybody to benefit from it and get in on it. Different for everybody, obviously. But I didn't think that I didn't want to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wasn't me.
I think. Just from a perspective of, I think that I don't know how it would be successful. I don't know what way the weight could be involved. It would have to be, I don't know. For me, the weight aspect of it is what kind of made it so wildly unhealthy, because obviously you should focus on those other factors, but to Luke's point,
I don't even have a scale in my gym, Sarah. Like I've owned my own gym for probably 25 years. I've been doing this for 35 years. I don't have a scale in the gym. I just look, there are so many other wins. Not that the scale isn't a great win, and I think that's wonderful and all that, but I just think there are other ways to show progress and to show growth.
But our point is that because it was only the scale, like by the end, especially as a coach with contestants, I had, everybody, there's at-home prize and then the finale. I'm at the point where I have to get my contestants to lose muscle to get the scale to go down.
There's no way to get
How exciting that I could have.
That wasn't you doing it, by the way. And
no, I know, but that was the rules.
There was times where Jen was thinking that I was doing one thing. I was doing something completely opposite of what Jen was telling me to do.
Are you willing to be honest though? Like when you said what Jen told me to do is not what I was doing. Can you tell me? Can you tell everybody what what I thought you were doing and what you chose?
Your metabolism is rapidly changing. So I lost what I think filming Jen was just under 6 months. Mm-hmm. Something like that. I think it was 5.5 months to 5 months and 3 weeks, something like that. I lost 120 pounds in that amount of time. So you're that's five. That's a lot of pounds a week, essentially.
Yeah.
You're at
I can do the math.
Next level. You cannot keep that up without making cuts in places. So I went home and at first was doing stuff per what we were doing on the ranch, because that was still working pretty well at first. My body was not adapting that fast to 6
over
to 8
5 pounds
hours
a week, by the
of
way.
working out, right? But what happens is you're home for 2 months and you're working out 6 to 8 hours a day and your metabolism is out. And it was completely and totally mentally the most exhausting thing. And the only thing that helped was to start cutting calories, because I'm already working out as much as I can. How much more can I really add?
How low did you go in your calories? Did you swap to juices, or did you just go really, really low?
Pretty low,
yeah.
You know, like but you know, I was able to do that. Like, I sometimes think about how little I was eating, probably the last month and a half, is when it really got down to it. Like, first you start with like changes. So like at first, you know, obviously we were eating a good amount of carbs for the amount we were working out. And then it starts to be like, well, we have to cut back a little bit on the carbs because, you know, what do carbs hold? Water. Well, it's all about weight. So what are we doing? We're going to start, obviously that wasn't till later, but like you really have to start making changes because your body is rapidly working against you to lose weight that quickly. There's not like you don't lose 20 pounds a week like that consistently without having to continuously adjust what your body's doing. So, I mean, you know, towards the end, I was probably working out 6 to 8 hours a day and on like 300, 400 calories. I mean, I remember looking at like a packet of ranch seasoning and thinking about like licking my finger and like, is that too much sodium? Like, that was pretty, like, it got to a point where I wasn't, and Jen didn't know that, by the way. Like, this is where it comes into now, like, Dr. H always took really good care of us. He was a very kind man. Do I think at some point you have to know people are doing that to get those results? Yeah. I think he tried to, same way I look at Jen in that environment, is that I think he took the best care of us that he could within a production environment where that was the goal.
But you know what's so funny? Like, I did not know. Like, I was like, oh, I've got them on these calories. They're showing pictures of their food. My plan is awesome. I really didn't know. But after like the Thomas Anya season and then the you guys season, and I started getting real information about what was going on. Like, if the show had still been on, I would have known that. Like, that's why like for me, I felt like I wasn't hip to the game until much after, and then, but like by that time our show was already off the air, so I couldn't implement any of the information. I feel like this is a good way to kind of bring the conversation home. I think the best thing we ever did as a group was set up that first reunion in Nashville. Right here, we got our team together, and all 8 of our contestants came, plus their wives and kids, and they got to stand, like, of course it was a union, we missed each other, we loved each other, but there were people that almost didn't come because they'd gained their weight back, and they were so ashamed and so nervous, and they thought their process was so unique and so different. They were afraid to let me down, they were afraid to let each other down, and I would just say, like, using Sarah's example, and I think we've covered a lot of, like, there's so much, I think the highlight of this conversation, there's just so much more than you don't see in the documentary based on relationship and care and what happens with your body. And I don't want to say normalizing weight gain, but I think a lot of people see people that are obese and like, oh, that person's fat, they must be lazy. Like, Sarah's the least lazy person that I know. And I think that just knowing that, like, you're not alone. There is a real process here, but there's also a real pathway forward. And I think that, like, Sarah, you have found your way. You continue to find your way. You're such a highlight in my life. You continue to raise, like, beautiful kids. I love I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, your family is my family, and I'm so grateful that you had the courage to come on and talk through what was on your mind. And I feel like you and I could talk for another 2 hours of, like, processing.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I told her, I was like, she can't see us. We gotta tap the brakes for her. She'll keep going.
I would talk for forever.
Go ahead, Gunnar.
I know I always try to find the positive, but it's funny, like, people, you know, one of those segments, what do you hate on Instagram? What's really winding you up right now? I look at Biggest Loser, and I've had people talk to me about everything that was out there. I mean, go back Susan Powder, go back Billy Blanks. Don't you think it does this? Don't you think this is bad? And I will go back to this one baseline of, if it helped someone who was otherwise going to do nothing, do something, then it was a good thing. Part 2 of that is, we're all responsible for ourselves. I'm not trying to be cold. I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but, like, if you leave and gain the weight back, in my opinion, that's not on the show. And that's not, like, I try to get, like, I talk to my kids this way, I talk to people I work with this way. At some point, you're responsible. You can't always be a victim. You can't always blame somebody else. that I understand that's a knee jerk. I understand that's a human response, but at some point we have to take responsibility and go, okay, whether you, Dolvette, Bob, Jill, anybody was available or not to you, you still have to take care of yourself. That's your God-given instrument. You are responsible for it. I understand wanting to lash out. I understand because I was a fat kid, gaining the weight, losing the weight. There's a frustration involved that is sometimes insurmountable, and you do just want to curl up and lie in bed and cry and punch a pillow and yell at the world. But you got to get up and you got to get after it. And if you have somebody to reach out, whether you know how much you can, how little you can, you still have that person. A lot of people don't have that, and it's still incumbent upon them to take care of themselves. So I will say, instead of just looking, who can we lash out at? Let's do a documentary and bash the show and shit talk those people who let me down. Hey, man, take care of yourself. Get up, get after it. Let's go. And I know it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but you have to do it. You're responsible. And when you take that initiative, and when you saddle yourself up with that burden and you go, that's on me, it's going to end up different, and you come out of it on the other side. Whether you lose half of it again or you lose all of it again, there's pride to be taken in the fact that you did it on your own.
Yeah.
And congratulations, Sarah. It looks like you're doing that, like being the best mum you can, being the best family person you can be, and, being a really dear friend.
Those are the real wins. Those are
absolutely.
Way bigger wins
really
than the number on the scale, in my opinion.
Yeah, so, mate, congratulations. And look, I agree with a lot of what Gunnar just said there. And, you're doing a good job. You've got the best resource ever in the girls sitting on our panel right here now. So use it and, keep being the best you can be. Honestly, congratulations on being a great person.
You can't go wrong with Jen and a box of Kleenex.
That's the truth. Oh, I love you, girl. Thank you so much for being on.
It was good talking to you guys. Thank you.
Hug all the boys for me, okay?
All right, I will. Thanks, guys. It was good talking
Sarah.
to you.
Bye, y'all. Bye. Yeah.
That's powerful stuff. Those people go through some stuff.
Right?
They go through some stuff that I think the average person might not understand. It might not resonate with, and hopefully it's not like too long a story and too in-depth and too indulgent, but that's just everybody has their thing. Everybody has their road to hoe, or their hoe on the road. What is it?
I don't know.
Keep trying. Wait.
It was a hoe joke.
Has anyone? You just reminded me of that too. But has anyone ever been successful post show? Is there any success stories?
Oh yeah.
Why do we only hear about the negative?
I didn't
because the squeaky wheel gets the attention.
Yeah.
They interviewed multiple. They reached out to multiple of my contestants for this documentary, but none of them had anything mean to say about me.
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about I only ever hear it's only 1% chance, and I've never ever verified whether that's true or not. I've just heard it a million times. Only 1% of people have keep their weight loss after these shows.
There are people who keep it.
Oh yeah. I
had a guy years ago, and I didn't bring this up on there, who came to me when Loser was getting the backlash of what was happening to the people post experience on Biggest Loser, and he asked me if I wanted to do a show where we approached the Biggest Loser clients and ran them through a more sustainable approach to weight loss.
Right.
And it was sort of like an anti-Biggest Loser show, and we showed them like a more compassionate approach, because I said that's just not how I train. And that's not, again, you don't get taller standing on somebody else. I didn't want to do something based on knocking somebody else. Because true to who I've always been. Yeah. Kudos to anybody who lost weight. Kudos to anybody who stood up, and especially who did it in the public eye, because that's not easy, being that vulnerable. So I didn't want to take that shot, but I thought, again, he's creating a drama in the scripting of that show that never saw the light of day. But you just go, it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, Chris Powell and he was actually on our, like, almost like our sister show, like our competitive show. It's like Extreme Makeover Weight Loss Edition. That, and Chris and I built out a whole show where we went into someone's home and we looked at like the environment, like the home, the work, the social circle. Like, if we can change him here, it changes from the inside out. Totally. And that would be the way to do it. I mean, he's got a heart for it, though. A lot of people that are TV trainers are just, they want TV time. Yeah. But I'll tell you, so this is a text, this is just from a few months ago. So Sonia Jones was a really big highlight of my first season. She barely got second place at Toma by like a fraction of a percent, and they were both my contestants. But she wrote me, she goes, there's a lot of people that won't get this, but I'm going to celebrate with you. You'll remember that Dr. Huizenga told me, but my happy weight should be around 170, and I should never go under 160 because of the amount of muscle mass I have. Well, my happy weight has always been around 183, and today for the first time I am 179.4, and I've gained 4 pounds of muscle. I wanted to share. I hope you're well. So yes, there is success. It's just like not post-worthy. It doesn't make headlines. Yeah. I get these texts and I get these wins, and now, I mean, part of Sonia's success, by the way, is
she gets that win.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hers. Yeah. And she lets me in on it, but she also has a weight loss clinic in Illinois, in her hometown. So part of her success is the accountability built within the community she's now leading. And I think there's a part of it. And so there's this aspect they've got to find their way to create that accountability, just like we all do. Like Gunnar, like you're like, no matter what it is, I'm getting up at 5 or 4 and I'm getting to the gym. Like, you've got your system. Go ahead.
But I would, and you don't know this either, Dr. Huizenga was my personal physician for 20 something years. Is that funny? Before, nothing to do with the show.
Yeah, you and Charlie Sheen.
He had lots of people, but he was my guy forever. And I don't know that I love, and I'm not knocking him at all, he's phenomenal. I would say your happy weight, to use that term, is wherever you're happy. Like, you don't have to pin it on a number to the point why I don't have a scale in the gym, because you're letting an inanimate object dictate your emotional state. Why would you do that? Yeah. And I've had this conversation with a number of people in entertainment, not with people in sports so much. And I say, if you look in the mirror as a woman and everything looks perky and like it's going up versus going down, and you feel great and you're performing well, and you tell me your happy weight is 150 and you get on the scale and it says 158, how would you feel? And I've had a number of them say, I would feel awful. Yeah. I would feel so sad. Yep. And then I go, okay, let me flip that. What if you look in the mirror and you look like shit and you feel tired and your performance sucks, and you get on the scale and it says 143? They go,
thrilled.
I would feel great. And I go, so my assessment from that is, you're psycho. You're letting that scale dictate how you feel and how you go through your day. Don't do it. Go by, how do you feel? And if you start to feel badly, think of what you can do to turn that around, and don't rely on the scale. I'm not saying scales are bad. I'm not vilifying the scale. Use it as the tool that it is. Don't let it say to you, hey, by the way, this is what you weigh today. Go out in the world feeling that way. Use it as, it's one of your vitals, by the way. Big deal.
I think that's a bigger conversation. I think that's actually accurate for all walks of life. I think that we've been made believe something is what it is, or there's a tangibility around 150 instead of 158. It's the same with money. Comparison is a thief of joy. So if you have $10 in the bank, but you're really, really happy with that, but then you get told $1 million in the bank makes you happier, it's just what we choose to ingest or digest or whatever we take in, and then what emphasis we put on that. So I think that might even be a little bit of what we're talking about with some of the shows and the expectations and what they put out there as, oh, this is a healthy or happy weight.
But then you go to, watch this, bring it over to athletes. How many guys are told, or how it's ingrained in us, that if you don't win a championship, you had a failed career. I had a...
What was that conversation? Don't lose that thought. It was, I forgot, LeBron, I think, was getting interviewed on like a late night show, but it was like, Charles Barkley, no rings. Yeah. Right? Like, how many NBA absolute legends don't have a fucking championship ring? Do they not belong in the circle of absolute legends?
Tons of them, and that's always the thing. And then you go, it's a team sport. What if the other guys... what about there are teams and things have happened in the locker room that were completely outside the control of the athlete who was, arguably destined to be great and supersede all other accomplishments, and something happened in the locker room and his team imploded, and there's no way he's going to win. That's a team sport. You look at individuals, certain things happen, unfortunate things happen, and you have to define the winning by yourself.
I'm so
whether
big
it's
on
the $10, the $1 million, the 170, the 150, the championship, the no championship, I make X as a player, I don't. You go into a broadcasting career. There's so many ways to win. I just think focus on your wins. Stop worrying about your losses.
Yeah.
Again.
I cannot agree more, and fulfillment makes you happy, not someone else's version of happiness. And these things are everywhere, right? And we can go on. I'm not going to keep going on about it, but look at the Oscars, for instance. Sylvester Stallone, Tom Cruise never won one. Would you consider them not successful actors?
I would consider them both iconic.
They're stars, absolute stars. But I can't name everyone that's won an Oscar. No knock on that, and
they've both transcended generations. They've transcended genres. They've I mean, you're going to tell me because they didn't win it, because a subjective group of other oftentimes self-appointed or definitely appointed from the inside people didn't vote them? Come on, guys. It's great. Wait, yeah.
I mean, I think as long as my pants button up, I'm pretty good. That's where I live.
And if not, put on stretch pants for a week.
No, I disagree with that. No. Once they can't go, I'm not buying another pair. I stay here.
What's your trigger? Because I won't buy new clothes. If I get out, I'm like, hey, cut it back.
I agree.
I haven't bought.
Literally, my favorite pair of jeans, it was really tight, and I sat down at dinner, and it was hurting my tummy. I was like, all right, Jenny, put the beers down. You had enough fun. Okay, time to get going. That's one of the reasons I signed up for the CrossFit competition. I was like, I have to get my shit together. But
also we do that, and I used to say to people, they go, how do you hold yourself accountable? How do you maintain? I go, you set these little short-term goals. Long-term goals are great, but you have to have short-term goals. And when you're not a competitive athlete anymore, as you were, you got to set them. So what is that? The beach vacation? I'm going to be in a bathing suit. Is that the family reunion?
Sure.
I
had a client that got ready for a wedding. She's like, I'm in a wedding. I'm like, let's fucking
you're
go.
like this? Wait, you're already married? Oh, no, you're not the bride. No, but you're in the wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your goal. Good for you.
Yeah.
And people who are in our job, we have to set those because we do show up at work, essentially in our pajamas every day. We're in sweats every day. We're in loose stuff every day. What holds us accountable? It can't. I mean, you can use the scale, but at some point you have to find a reason to dial it back or to bump it up. Yeah. So you make those for yourself, and look, I've been out of school for forever. I've been out of any kind of competition for long before that. What you set those for yourself. And I think that's fun. That's half the challenge. When you see the people, guys or girls, who let it go, you're like, bro, set a goal. What are you doing?
I know. I feel for them.
And they do. They're like, I got this. I got that. Who we all do.
I think
do it from a health standpoint first, or 100%. Do it from an aesthetic standpoint. Do it from whatever it is that launches you into the fray.
Yeah. I think those standards and values are so important, and having look, I think you touched on a really good point before, and I think that it's like there's an above the line attitude in life and a below the line attitude in life, and below the line sometimes feels really good and it feels like we can blame other people. But if you take an above the line and solution oriented, not just problem focused,
it's a loser approach long term. Blaming other people. I genuinely
think that.
Being a victim, that's just,
it doesn't change the outcome. It doesn't matter how you feel. The outcome doesn't change because you blame someone else. So it's just a matter of...
But if you take responsibility, it will.
Every single time.
And a lot of times you're right. It is because of X. But that's not going to change it. You got to go, all right, it is because of them that I'm here. How do I get out of here? And when you do that, I think you launch yourself to new heights.
Tony Robbins has that saying.
We got Tony Robbins right here.
Gunnar is like that. But he has that saying, if you're going to blame someone for everything that went wrong, you better thank them for everything that went right as well. So and this is super dark, but horrible thing, someone potentially got abused when they were a kid, but that made them, get through adversity, create success, or whatever they may be, not do that to other people, whatever it might be. So whatever you went through in life, you have to let go of it and you have to move on. You have to get on with life. You just have to. So whatever forced you to eat fast food more than you should be, you're going to have to work that out, and you're going to have to like find a way to get through it. And maybe that's a great trainer, or maybe that's a photo or a highlight reel, but you just got to work it out.
Let's work it out, guys.
Find a way. Well, you survived another episode. Congratulations.
Now go and follow the show, subscribe to the show, like the show, comment on the show, download the show, leave a 5-star review for the show, or any review really. We'll take what we can get.
Okay, Luke, they get it. This was the Kids Table. See you next recess.